It's the night of Aleph Reish Chodesh Iyar Tov Lamed Hey, Thursday night of that year, Tov Lamed Hey. ובראשי חדשיכם תקריבו גיימר, at the heads of the months you shall offer up the karbonos that he speaks about. It's known, the analysis of the Zoyar, and what it says, Roshei Losh Rabim, heads of your months. It says it in plural, and the Zoyar asks an interesting type of question, but it's a Kabbalistic type of question. V'chikama Roshin Inun L'Sira. Chodesh also means Levana, the moon. How many heads are there to the moon? It's brought down, Chassidus explains this. And just like the moon itself, the head to the moon, who leads the moon? It's the sun. So there's only one sun that sustains and gives illumination to the moon. The same thing, the spiritual level of moon is Malchus. There's only one head that Malchus receives from, the level of Ze'er Ampin. And that's the question over here. Why does it say Roshei, that the heads of? So he says at the end of line 3, V'yuvim behegdim close in the Reish Chodesh. This will be understood by prefacing the general idea of Reish Chodesh, what it's about. This pasuk, the heads of the months, is referring to every Reish Chodesh. And we know, where do all the Rosh Chodashim come from? All heads of months comes from the first of the month of Nisan. All of them are concerning the first of the month of Nisan. It says, HaChodesh Hazeh, this month. Why does it say this? So he says parenthetically, because Hashem showed him, Hashem said like this, what I'm showing you now in the sky, that's what you have to see, and that is how you sanctify it. But back, sanctified month. But lochem, it'll be for you, Rosh Chodashim, the head of months, Rishon hu lochem l'chotshei hashana. It's the first for you for the months of the year. So all the heads of months of the year are coming out of and a result of the Reish Chodesh Nisan. And from then, when Moshe Rabbeinu was told this in Parshas Boy, Nasa Shinui ve'ilui b'chol Rosh Chodashim, becomes a change and an elevation in all the heads of months, even though there was the concept of heads of month since the beginning of creation, but by assigning Nisan to be the heads of months, and therefore, like every head, it's mashpia to all the others, so all the other heads of months are now elevated. They're in such a way that they come down from the head of the month of Nisan, that was established to be the head of all the months. The first for the months of the year. The idea behind this is, like it's brought on the Medrash on the Pasuk. This month is for you. Once Hashem shows His world, He established in it heads of months and years. In other words, right away, this is the point that we said, at the beginning of creation, there was right away the idea of months and years, and heads of months and heads of years. And then, when Hashem chose Yaakov and his sons, He established a head of month of redemption. So that means, the Rebbe is going to point out that what takes place now since Nisan of the year 2448 is a totally different level. Line 16, V'hainu, this means, even though up till now there were the heads of months that Hashem established when He chose His world. This means that also this was in a way of choice, that Hashem chose this. This wasn't just something that was it just happened. It was Hashem's choice, meaning Hashem was involved in that process, and with all the qualities of choice, etc., etc. Still, the norm, Mikol Mokim, this doesn't reach the advantage and quality of when Hashem chose Yaakov and his children, Then he established a head of month of redemption, and that head of month of redemption of Nisan now influences all heads of months further on. He says in the last line on this page, and the Medrash continues to explain the idea of the head of the month of redemption. That was affected when Hashem chose Yaakov and his children. Top of page Vav. That in that month the Yidden were redeemed from Mitzrayim. And in that month they will be redeemed in the future. Like it says, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. So there's a continuation like we've been talking about in the last two Mamorim. Behind this means the choice that Hashem chose Yaakov and his children, Paul, affected that the Yidden were redeemed from Mitzrayim. Beginning from the miracles and wonders that was in the first day of Pesach. The beginning of your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim. That at that time, at the first day of Pesach, midnight, it became revealed upon them the King of Kings, the Eibishter, in his own glory and essence, and redeemed them. Until the continuation, the conclusion of leaving Mitzrayim, B'kriyas Yamsuf, and the splitting of the sea, like we've explained different times, that's the conclusion and the complete end of going out of Mitzrayim in that physical sense. Until the goal and the purpose of going out of Mitzrayim, B'kriyas Yamsuf, and the splitting of the sea, all this was to bring the Yidden up to a good and broad land. And all that event, those events, through this influenced and affected that in Nisan we will also be redeemed. Like the explicit Pasuk, openly it says in the Pasuk, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. Like we spoke about Mambarim prior to this. They were just comparing it. I will show you wonders when Mashiach comes, similar to and like the days we were going out of Mitzrayim. But rather it's in a way of a cause and effect. That the idea of you going out of the land of Mitzrayim is the cause for my showing you wonders when Mashiach comes. So too, it's also concerning the continuation and the conclusion of going out of Mitzrayim and the splitting of the sea. That also, the splitting of the sea we've been talking about, is a preparation for a similar event that's going to take place. It's the cause that will eventually result in the effect of the splitting of the river in the future time. That is what it says. They transformed sea to dry land. In the river they will cross by foot, and over there they will rejoice in him. And that's why it's one continuation, that pasuk v'yedu abir b'shinel hashenis, because of its known explanation of the change of the expressions and the tense in the pasuk. Hafach yom li'abasha, where it says he transformed sea to dry land, b'l'shayin ava, he says it in past tense. Ubanar yavar v'ragel b'l'shayin asid, and he says they will cross the river by foot in the future tense. That's because transforming sea to dry land in past tense is referring to a past event, to what happened when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, when they split the sea. And by the river they will cross by foot. In the future tense, it's referring to a future event. It's referring to the splitting of the river of Mashiach's times. And the Rebbe says we find a similar thing, that the future tense in Oz Yashir also hints at this as well. So he says in the brackets, like it's also hinted in what it says in Oz Yashir, Ad Yavar Amcha Vayad Yavram Zukunisa. until your nation Havaya will cross, until your nation that you acquired will cross. Why does it say it in the future tense? Top of page 9. Though it was said after crossing the sea, it still not says they will cross in the future tense. It's explained in it in the Mimer of the Mittler Rebbe, the great Mimer, in other words, the very large Mimer, like the Rebbe explained earlier, of the title Tipalei Masav Achad Shekoyal Shtei Havoris Shad Yavr Shtei Pamish Yulas Lavoi. Why does it say twice? There's two crossings. There's going to be two crossings. That's going to be when Mashiach comes, and in that Maimon explains that has to do with the two levels of the Geula that we've been talking about, the Geula of Yemois Mashiach, and then that post-state, the second era, the time of Olam Haba. So he says in line 5, since he transformed the sea to dry land in the splitting of the sea, then there becomes the opening and the paving of the way. Al derech hayidur being in Pasuk Rabbi Shimon, similar to what it says in Zohar, the expression Rabbi Shimon opened up, meaning he opened up a channel for it. So the same thing, the splitting of the sea, opened up a channel and paved the way. Concerning the idea that in the river they were crossed by foot in Mashiach's times, like it says about Mashiach, he will raise up his hand over the river until the final stage, that over there we will rejoice in him. And all of these things, this all begins and is part of the Reish Chodesh of Geula, was established when Hashem chose in Yaakov Abanav and his children. So we see how powerful that event is, and therefore, because that event is so powerful, it influences and gives all the Rosh Chodeshim, even what we're going to talk about, even Rosh Chodesh Iyar as well, it's influencing as well. So now the Rebbe Nois Gimel is going to connect it with the Kapitel Tillim that was the Kapitel that they began saying in Tafshin Lamed Hey for the Rebbe's Yudalf Nissen for his birthday. They started saying Kapitel Ayin Dalet. So he says, Nois Gimel v'yesh lakasha zegam mashanamar. We can connect this also what it says. Remember your congregation that you acquired early on, very early level. Shevet Nachlasecha, the tribe of your lot. Har Tzion zeh shechanta by this mountain of Tzion, that you rested in it, that you dwelled in it. Hine kedem pirusha lefnei brias ha'olam kepirush Rashi. What does it mean, kedem? This means before the creation of the world, like Rashi explains.